do that, but Carl says no.
That money clip us now, the new now looks like whoa. Upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like whoa. I hit record it, drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets.
Good Saturday morning, ladies and gentlemen. How you all doing? You know what time it is? It's 11 o'clock, and it's time to talk some sports. You have joined the TFG Sports Show, the best 30-minute sports talk show on social media. I am your host, Kendrick, the sports guy. How's everybody doing out there in social media land? I hope you had a good week. I hope you're going to have a good weekend. Again, we're going to talk about some of the hot sports stories that went on during the week. But before we jump into all that, make sure you come in, hit that like, hit that share button to all your social media platforms, and comment so we can chat. We can talk sports. I want to talk back so we can carry on a sports conversation. So again, good Saturday morning to you. Make sure you come on in and do that. And subscribe to TFG Sports Media on YouTube. Make sure you do that. We're at 924 subscribers. We getting there. We slow boogieing. We got to get 74 more to get to that 1,000 threshold, but we definitely want to do more than 1,000, but 1,000 is key. And we got to get those watch hours up. So go in there and you subscribe. Go check out some of the sports stories that I have done over the past year. There's some good ones on there. So go check us out. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share that and all that good stuff. We're about, 15 days to Christmas. You got, 14 shopping days left? Those that's doing that, you better get busy. Or are those, you just click your mouse and you just do it on your couch? Hey, I get it. I ain't no big shopper. I don't do that. And I don't really do a lot of the holidays anyway. So I'm giving you the countdown, guys. So you better get on your P's and Q's. Make sure you got your stuff ready. So let's go ahead and jump into our quick hits segment real quick. We're going to be talking about boxing right off the top. So we paying homage on our first quick hit number one. Hall of Fame boxing referee Mills Lane died Tuesday morning at the age of 85 at his Reno, Nevada home. If you know him, you remember him. He was a referee for some of the biggest fighting bouts that we've seen in the 80s and 90s and late 70s as well. But his biggest fight he refereed was the bite fight, and that was the fight between Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield, when Mike Tyson bit a part of Holyfield's ear off. That was Judge Mills Lane. He would move on from that, and he would have his own syndicated show, the Judge Mills Lane Show. If you remember that, I do remember that. And that ran from 1998 to 2001. And he also, my MTV people out there, you remember the Celebrity Death Match in the early 90s? The claymation animated cartoon, so to speak. He was the voice of the referee. He was a referee in that as well. So Judge Mills Lane carved out a nice little niche for himself. He was one of the greatest referees to ever do it. And he had a law degree. I didn't know that. I read up on it. So again, Hall of Fame boxing referee Mills Lane passed away on Tuesday morning at the age of 85. Rest in power, Mills Lane. Now, stay in boxing. Quick hit number two. WBO welterweight champ Terrence Bud Crawford got a fight tonight. That's right. There's a fight tonight. Terrence Bud Crawford, 38-0 and 29 KOs, is putting his WBO welterweight belt on the line versus David Avansavian, who's 29-3 with 17 KOs. A fight tonight on pay-per-view in Crawford's hometown of Omaha, Nebraska. Basically, this is a stay busy fight for Crawford. As we all know, the Earl Spence Jr., Terrence Crawford fight that was supposed to happen in November. Talks broke down. Don't know when it's going to happen. Hopefully it'll happen in 2023. We'll see. But again, Terrence Bud Crawford is fighting tonight on pay-per-view in his hometown versus David Avansavian, and he has his WBO welterweight title on the line. So we'll see. It could be an upset. Now, quick hit number 3. Yankees outfielder Aaron Judge signed a 9-year, $360 million contract to stay in the pinstripes of the New York Yankees. He did flirt in free agency with the San Francisco Giants and the San Diego Padres, but eventually the Yankees showed him the money. Now, Judge's contract is the 3rd largest in Major League Baseball history, behind Mookie Betts and Mike Trout. Now, quick hit number 4, another sad story, but this is kind of a really good one. The University of Virginia will be awarding their degrees posthumously. I can never say that word. Posthumously, to honor the 3 Virginia football players that were shot and killed on campus last month. Devin Chandler, Lavelle Davis Jr., and Deshaun Perry. Davis majored in African American and African Studies. Perry double majored in studio art and African American and African Studies, and Chandler majored in American Studies. So again, the University of Virginia will award their degrees posthumously to their families. And again, rest in peace and power to those 3 young men. Now, our last quick hit, number 5, Kyrie Irving. We all knew that Nike had already said they suspended it, but they officially dropped him from Nike. Irving's agent, Shatilia Riley Irving, which I think is his mom, I'm not sure, called the decision mutual. Now, Irving's deal was set to expire October 1st, 2023. Here's a good fact. Nice little fact. 68% of NBA players wear Nike, and the annual Kyrie model had become one of the most worn shoes across the league. Irving signed with Nike as a rookie in 2011. Kyrie became the 20th NBA player in league history to receive his own signature shoe with Nike in 2014. And he did come out and he has put his taped a piece of tape over the Nike logo on his shoe, and he also put "Thank God I'm Free" on his shoe in his last game that he played. I will talk a little bit more about that on TFG tonight on Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, with the host Brenton Haynes, myself, Devin Devine, and Lee Black. So come check us out on TFG Tonight YouTube channel, where I will go a little bit more. We'll talk a little bit more about the Kyrie Irving and Nike splitting ways. Now, let's get to our NFL Week 14 preview. We're going to start off with the AFC East. We're starting with the New York Jets, who are 75. They will be traveling to the Buffalo Bills, who is 9-3 and sitting atop the first place in the AFC East. And right now, they are the number 1 seed in the AFC as well, the Buffalo Bills. Now, the Bills have won 3 games in a row. Again, as I said, they sit atop first in the AFC East, but they will be without their all-pro, all-everything linebacker Von Miller. He's been shut down for the season with that knee injury. They did find a little tear in there of the ACL. So Bills, they will not have the services of their sack leader, linebacker Von Miller. Now, the Jets have won 7 of their first 12 games for the first time since 2011. Again, nobody picked the Jets to even be a player in this division, let alone in the AFC. But they had to make a change at the quarterback position. They benched their number 1 draft pick from a year ago, Zach Wilson. They brought in Mike White, and Mike White has played the last 2 games. He's played well. He's passed for 300 yards twice, and the Jets have topped 450 yards in total offense in his 2 starts. So it looks like Mike White is going to be the guy, unless there's an injury, unless he really just stink up the place. Looks like he's going to be the guy from here on out. Now, there was a lot of talk. Should you pull Zach Wilson? Will you mess up his psyche? I say this: if you playing bad, you got to go to the bench. I mean, unless it's obviously it's different if you an Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. That's different. Zach Wilson really hadn't played that great in his first 2 years anyway. I mean, he's had a couple of injuries, but he hasn't played that well. So I thought Coach Robert Saleh did the right thing. You got to go with the guy that can make some things happen offensively to help the defense. Now, the Jets ranked 26th in the NFL in red zone efficiency, 48.6%. So they're 18 for 37. That's the red zone. Anytime you get inside of 20, you should be scoring a touchdown or kicking the field goals. You want them touchdowns, but they're 26th in the NFL, scoring touchdowns in the red zone. Now, the Bills are playing their first home game since November 13th. It's been a month, almost a month, because you got to remember they had to move their game to Detroit when they played Cleveland because of they got that big old snow drift. They was dealing with that. And so, yeah, they had to move their game, so they hadn't been home since November 13th. Miss Toria, thanks for joining me. I appreciate you watching. Toria says, good afternoon. Appreciate you. I've been gone, got back this morning. Need a vacation for the vacation. Too much fun. That's all right, Miss Toria. That's all right. You got a good vacation. I hope you had fun, and it sounded like you did. But we be missing you, but it's good that you made it back safely. Now, the ESPN analytics are picking, and this is what they do to pick which team they think is going to win. The Jets have a 16.4% chance to win this game on Sunday. By the way, this is an early game on Sunday as well. And the Bills, 83.5% chance to win. My pick, I'm picking the Bills. I just think they got, you got Josh Allen. And he's kind of, he was my front runner for MVP, but I think old Jalen Hurts down in Philly. I think it's his to lose now. I think even though Josh has had some good wins, I think he's been, there's been a little struggles there. He's thrown some untimely interceptions in the red zone as well. So right now, Jalen Hurts is my pick to win NFL MVP. But I picked the Bills to win this game 29-16. Now, standings in the AFC East, again, the Bills are 9-3. Dolphins are sitting in number 2 at 8-4, and they're playing well. They took that L, though, to the 49ers. The Jets are right behind at 7-5, and the Patriots are bringing up the rear at 6-6. Now, let's move on to our next NFL Week 14 game preview. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Mr. Tom Brady with his 44th fourth quarter comeback, the most in NFL history. I walked away from that game, and I said that they had no chance to come back and win that game. The dang Tampa Bay Buccaneers won that game Monday night versus the Saints, where the Bucs sit atop that mediocre NFC South division at 6-6. They will be at the 49ers 8-4. Right now, they are playing some good football. In my opinion, I think they are the second best team in the NFC behind the Eagles, and the Cowboys is the third. Those are the top 3 teams on my list. And the 49ers are balling. And they got a rookie quarterback now. They may have Jimmy G back. I just read a report, but he may not be able to come back. But it's not as serious as they first thought it was. Now, the 49ers are 3.5-point favorite in this game. The series record, the 49ers lead this series 18-7. The last time these teams met, the Niners beat the Bucs 31-17, and that was back in September 2019 in Tampa. Last week, again, the Bucs came back with that miraculous victory on Monday night, beat the Saints 17-16, and the Niners beat the Dolphins 33-17. Now the 49ers come in with that. They got a dog defense. They got some bad men on that defense. Boy, they come in with the number 1 rated defense in the NFL. They first against the run. They first in least points given up, and they 12th against the pass. So this is not going to be a cake. And the Bucs offense has been struggling anyway. They have some injuries as well. So man, Tom Brady might. This is going to be a tough one. Again, 49ers are starting rookie quarterback Brock Purdy, who was Mr. Insignificant. I think that's what they call it. No, Mr. Irrelevant. The NFL draft, the last pick in the draft is always called Mr. Irrelevant. Well, Brock Purdy was this year's Mr. Irrelevant. He was the last pick of the draft. He was quarterback out of Iowa State. Well, he's making his first career start on Sunday versus the Bucs. He relieved Jimmy G last week, and he went 25 of 37 for 210 yards with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Again, Purdy was the last pick in the draft, but he looked like he was comfortable. So, the highlights that I watched, he looked really comfortable in that offense. So, and now he's had a week to really prepare and get the first team snaps. So, I think Kyle Shanahan is probably going to make it. I ain't gonna say keep it simple as far as playbook wise, but his play calling. He's probably want to try to lean a little bit more on that run game. Now, Tampa Bay's defense isn't as good as it has been in the past years either. So I think the Niners, their defense is probably going to carry this game, but I think the 49ers offense will do enough to win this game. Now, Niners defensive end, Nick Bosa leads the NFL with 14 and a half sacks, and he is on a 6-game sack streak. The Bucs O-line, again, they hurting. They're going to be without Tristan Wirfs. I think he's their right guard. Tristan Wirfs, he won't play. They've had injuries up and down that offensive line all year. So at this point, they just got to go with who's there. They got to go with who is there. Now, the Bucs quarterback Tom Brady, he leads the NFC in passing yards with 3,332, 16 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. And Brady is 2-1 versus the Niners in career starts. Again, the Brady-Niners relationship is, Brady grew up in I believe, in Northern California, and he grew up a 49ers fan. At one point, when he was, before he left the Patriots, there was talk of a trading him to the 49ers. That was the hot topic. But so I think Brady definitely has, he's going to probably have a little bit of chip on his shoulder coming into this game. Again, the Niners are on a 5-game win streak. I think they're one of the hottest teams in the NFC. The Niners, the Eagles, and the Cowboys are probably the 3 hottest teams going right now. And I just think the Niners got it. I just think that defense is a dog. So my pick for this game, I'm going with the Niners. I think it's going to be closer than a lot of people think. I'm picking the Niners just only because of the rookie quarterback. But I'm still picking the Niners to win this game 20-16. Now, our last game, Week 14 preview, we're going to run through this because this game shouldn't be a contest, but you never know. And I just found out that the Texans are going to be without 2 of their starting wide receivers. We got the Texans 1-10-1. We got at the Cowboys 9-3. That's a noon game on Sunday. We got the Battle of the Lone Star State. I think they do play for like a cowboy hat or a boot. Whoever wins, I know they did in preseason. I don't know if they do that in the regular season. But this game should, knowing the Cowboys, they're probably going to make this game more interesting than it should be. Well, again, the Cowboys are coming off a season high 220 yards rushing and a 54-19 beatdown of the Indianapolis Colts. The Texans come in with the NFL's worst rush defense. So everybody's smart enough to know you need to try to run it. You can run the ball on these guys. You're going to run the ball on these guys. But they're going to probably put 8 in the box and try to stop the run. So the Cowboys should be able to throw the football on this team. So we'll see. Now, Tony Pollard leads the Cowboys in rushing with 852 yards, 5 touchdowns of at least 30 yards. That's 3 runs and 2 catches. And Zeke is like around 750, 45, 50 yards. He's right there. So the Cowboys could have 2 1,000-yard rushing backs. And when's the last time it has that happened for the Cowboys? I don't know if it's ever happened. But it's a possibility that Pollard and Ezekiel can both rush for 1,000 yards this season. So we'll see. Now the Texans they're going back to Davis Mills. The Kyle Allen experience did not work, according to head coach Lovie Smith. Mills led the league before he was benched through 10 games with 11 interceptions. So you can just believe this: the Cowboys defense gonna pressure. They coming. Michael Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence, they coming. Cowboys are coming off, 5? They had 5 turnovers versus the Colts and Matt Ryan. So, they licking their chops right now. Cowboys going to probably be coming. Again, the Cowboys are a 16.5-point favorite. I don't think I've ever seen that big of a point spread as far as a favorite in an NFL game in a long time. But according to a report I read, Coach Mike McCarthy, he's saying don't eat the cheese week. That's what he had been telling his players. Don't eat the cheese. Don't get caught up on Houston, Texas woes because you know what? Guess what? Any NFL team can beat any NFL team on any given Sunday because they all are professionals. So we're going to see how the Cowboys jump out on these guys. Now, one bright spot for the Houston Texans, their rookie running back, Damian Pierce. He's a 4th-round pick from Florida, has 861 yards rushing to lead all rookies. And that young man, he's a baller. He can run. Now, the Cowboys can reach 10 wins in back-to-back seasons for the first time since the last of 6 in a row in 1996. So the Cowboys looking to get the double-digit wins today. I think they should. I think they should run the table because they got Jacksonville next week after this. I think the Cowboys should be sitting at 11-3 by the time they meet the Eagles on Christmas Eve. I'm picking the Cowboys beat the Texans 31-16. All right, so let's move on to our next subject, our next topic. Miss Toria Williams says, my husband said, who does the Ravens play this week? I think the Ravens play. I did not write that. You know what? Let me look. I think the Ravens play. I think they play the Steelers. I'm not quite sure, Miss Toria, but I would definitely look that up for you. And I do. Speaking of the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, he's still out. He's not gonna play if I'm not mistaken. That he tweaked that knee, and now the talk is did that gamble pay off for him? Betting on himself, and now it's looking that they play Pittsburgh. Baltimore is at Pittsburgh, and that is the noon game on CBS. So yes, Miss Toria, tell your husband Baltimore is at Pittsburgh. Battle of the AFC North. Now let's talk about the college football playoffs. They're set. We got no college football today. I don't know we got the Army Navy game, but again, we don't have any college football till the end of the month. So here we go. We got number 1 Georgia 13-0 versus the number 4 Ohio State 11-1. They will play in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl on December 31st. Right now, they're going to be the second game. They're going to be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's going to be in Atlanta. Right now, they have the Georgia Bulldogs as a 6.5-point favorite over the Ohio State. The Bulldogs are seeking to win back-to-back national titles. Last time a team did that, Alabama. Crimson Tide did it back in 2011 and 2012. So Georgia Bulldogs will face the number 1 seed, the number 4 seed, Ohio State, who's 11-1. Georgia is 13-1. Now, the thing is, Ohio State, the only team in this Final Four that did not play in a conference championship. And I think they were the last team to also make it to the Final Four without playing in a conference championship. Again, Buckeyes joined the club of one-loss teams that made playoffs despite not playing in their conference championship. You got the nation's best offense, Ohio State, and their quarterback, C.J. Stroud, versus the nation best defense, those Georgia Bulldogs. And, they do have some dogs on that defensive side of the ball. Now, they pass defense is a little suspect, but they run defense, they bring it. Now, the Bulldogs defense in 4 games against top 20 offenses, Georgia racked up 13 sacks. They allowed 7 offensive touchdowns and won by at least 2 touchdowns in each. So again, when they put that grip on you, when they put their dog on you, they lock you down. You got Stuart Bennett Stetson Bennett, at the quarterback position, and a Heisman Trophy candidate as well for the Bulldogs. He's been steady at that quarterback position. So they coming in with a lot of experience and, again, with a lot of confidence. Now, the Buckeyes offense is led by, again, quarterback C.J. Stroud. He's thrown for 3,330 yards, 37 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. And the Bulldogs, again, quarterback Stetson Bennett, he's thrown for 3,425 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. So, again, college football playoffs are set. This is our first semifinal. Again, that's going to be the second semifinal of that day, the Georgia Bulldogs versus the number 4 Ohio State Buckeyes in Atlanta, and that is the 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Atlanta. Miss Toria says, I knew that Lamar made a mistake not taking the deal. No, he wanted to hold out for more money. Greed gets you nowhere. Well, I don't want to say greed. I just think when you think about negotiating, it's about what the market value, what is the market value at the time that I can negotiate. You got to remember, at the time Lamar Jackson came, Russell Wilson just signed that big extension for $250 million. Then you got to remember, Deshaun Watson just signed that 5-year guarantee for $230 million. But you also got to remember, Lamar Jackson has won an NFL MVP. He's taken his teams to the playoffs. So when you think about it, if you're giving Deshaun Watson $230 million guaranteed, I've won an MVP. I've taken my team to the playoffs. You got to show me the money. That's just what the market, if the market is showing that, that's how you got to look at it. So I get what you're saying, Ms. Williams. It could be called greed, but it also could be called, I want to be paid fair market value. That's what it is. I think it's easy for a lot of us to sit and look at athletes and say, "Oh man, they just being greedy. All that money they making." But when you really think about it, you think about your services that you're providing is like, okay, if this guy's getting this type of money, and I've done a little bit, my resume looks a little bit better, then I know I should get this price. You see what I'm saying? So that's how it is. Now, me personally, I think he did roll the dice, because the thing about the NFL, that's you're injury away from for it being, that's a wrap. I mean, it almost happened to Dak. You see with Dak Prescott, you know, he rolled the dice a little bit too, and he broke that foot, and who know, you know, he kind of rolled the dice too. So it's all about what they're willing to pay you. I always say that you worth anybody that's willing to pay you, that's what you worth. So that's the way I look at it. So anyway, I digress. All right, college football playoffs. Our first semifinal on December 31st. We got the number 2 ranked Michigan Wolverines, 13-0. They taking on the number 3 TCU Horned Frogs out of Funky Town, Fort Worth, at 12-1. That will be, again, that's the Fiesta Bowl. That'll be on December 31st. That's the early game, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'll be out in Glendale, Arizona. The Wolverines are 9.5-point favorites. Now, the Wolverines come in as the winningest program in the history of college football, and this is the first time that Michigan has been 13-0. Now, they do have a dominant run game that was led by Blake Corum, but he will not play. He's injured. He was out. And a steady hand of their sophomore quarterback, J.J. McCarthy. Michigan is seeking its 12th national championship. Now, TCU comes in, probably most people look at them as the underdog. They come in with 5 second-half comebacks and an offense that's averaging 40.3 points per game. Quarterback Max Dugan and wide receiver Quentin Johnson are the Horned Frogs players to watch. Again, the TCU Horned Frogs, even though they lost the Big 12 championship in overtime, they do have an offense that can put up points. They also feature top 30 defense in the nation. So their defense going to have their hands full against that Michigan Wolverines run game and Coach Jim Harbaugh. You know what's funny? I was just thinking about a couple of years ago, about maybe 2 years ago, there was rumors that Jim Harbaugh was on the hot seat. There was rumors that he had interviewed for the Minnesota Vikings head coaching job after they fired Mike Zimmer. And a lot of people wasn't happy with him in Ann Arbor because they wasn't getting it done. They was losing the big game. But now you fast forward, look at him now. You know, the Wolverines have been one of the more dominant teams in the nation the last 2 years. Definitely been running the Big Ten. Look, Michigan versus TCU. Again, Michigan is undefeated, 13-0. TCU 12-1. Just looking at it on paper, most people going to pick Michigan. Vegas have already put them as a 9.5-point favorite. But again, you never know what happened in these games. We got two good matchups with Michigan at TCU and Georgia at Ohio State. So we can't wait for that. Now, again, we only got maybe one more year before this college football playoff will expand to 12 teams. I believe we got one more year for this 14 playoff. Then after that, then it'll be 12 teams. So we got that to look forward to. That's going on New Year's Eve, both those matchups. Now let's move on to our next topic. Mr. Producer Tyler, give a hand for my guy Tyler, who's back there that types up the banners that you see and puts it up on the screen. He does a great job. We're talking, speaking of, we stay in college football, Heisman Trophy. I don't know if you know, but the Heisman Trophy ceremony is tonight in the Big Apple. Who will win? And, I think this has been one of those years where the Heisman Trophy has been, candidates has been, you really don't know. But everybody's picking USC quarterback Caleb Williams, who, by the way, lost in the Pac-12 championship to Utah. But right now, everybody's pointing him as the front runner. I think he did win the Davey O'Brien Award as the best college quarterback in the league. He followed Lincoln Riley out there to USC from Oklahoma. So one of the finalists, again, USC quarterback Caleb Williams. He threw for 4,075 yards, 372 rushing yards, 47 total touchdowns, 4 interceptions, a 66.1% completion percentage. And he's a sophomore. Again, he lost to Utah in that Pac-12 championship, but he got hurt. He was a hamstring injury. So we'll see. And they lost to 47-24. Mrs. Toria says, did not look at it that way, the way you put it. I agree with you. That is why you're the expert. I wouldn't say, Miss Toria, you're so kind. I wouldn't say expert, but I try. I try my best. But I wouldn't be here if it weren't for people like you that come watch me. So I appreciate you watching and commenting as you always do. Again, so he's one of the candidates for the Heisman Trophy, Caleb Williams. Georgia quarterback, again, Stetson is all quarterbacks this year too. Stetson Bennett, a senior for Georgia, he's a candidate. He threw for 3,425 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 68.1 completion percentage. He's led Georgia to their second SEC championship win when they beat LSU 50-30. And he will face Ohio State in college football playoffs, and he's looking to win a second national championship. So Stetson Bennett, quarterback for Georgia. Now the other candidate is Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud, who's a junior. He threw for 3,340 yards, 37 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and 66.2 completion percentage. He lost again. Ohio State got beat down in their last game of the season, lost to Michigan 45-23. They will play Georgia again in the college football playoffs. Now, the fourth candidate for the Heisman is TCU quarterback Max Duggan, who's a senior. He threw for 3,321 yards, 30 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 64.9 completion percentage. They lost to Kansas State in the Big 12 championship in overtime, 31-28. They will face Michigan in the college football playoffs. So those are your 4 candidates. Out of those 4, most people are picking. The writers are saying it's Caleb Williams to win. I guess so. But here's some notable names that wasn't invited that I thought should have been. Tennessee quarterback Hendon Hooker, even though he got hurt. He threw for 3,135 yards, 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He rushed for 400 yards, 5 rushing touchdowns. He was a senior, and he had some big wins. That was one guy I thought should have been invited to New York. Another one, Texas running back Bijan Robinson Jr., 258 attempts, 1,580 yards, 18 touchdowns. He averaged 6.1 yards a carry. And Texas did. They finished respectable, 8-4, third in the Big 12. His biggest game, he rushed for 243 yards on 25 attempts and 4 touchdowns versus Kansas. I know that's not saying much. But he also rushed for 209 yards and 1 touchdown versus Kansas State. He wasn't invited to New York. And last but certainly not least, Jackson State quarterback Shedeur Sanders, sophomore. He had 3,383 yards passing, 36 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 70.2 completion percentage. He led his Tigers to undefeated season. They're playing in the Celebration Bowl next Saturday as well. And they won a second straight SWAC championship. He wasn't invited. So I think those guys should have been in the mix. I'm sure they're gonna end up being somewhere in the top 7 or 8 for as voting wise. But those guys I felt like should have been invited to New York City as well. So again, Heisman Trophy ceremony is tonight. Check it out. I'll check it out. We'll see who wins. Most people are picking Caleb Williams, and I think he probably will win. Now let's move on to Floyd Money Mayweather. He wants to become an NBA owner. Now, he was at this public event, and he was talking about that, he definitely wants to be an owner. He says has been working to buy an NBA team, and he has $2 billion to offer. But it's going to take a little bit more money than that to buy an NBA team. But he says he has a $2 billion to offer. And he said, mention possibly if there becomes a expansion, the Vegas franchise or Seattle franchise, if the NBA expands. Now, Commissioner Adam Silver said that there could be an expansion coming down the line. He was talking about if Vegas may be one city. I do know LeBron James said that he would be interested in becoming an owner, and he felt like Vegas would be a good spot. And then Seattle, that has been the name as well as expansion that will be coming down the pipeline if the NBA expands. I hope they don't, because it's not enough talent already. The talent is kind of watered down. Anyway, now according to Mayweather, he and his business partner offered them a little over $2 billion for majority ownership. Now, he did not say who them was. We don't know who them is. So he did say he and his business partner put it on the table. Now, the only NBA team that we know that's publicly up for sale that's going to be up for sale is the Phoenix Suns because of the Robert Sarver, the owner situation with his workplace improprieties and his use of the N-word and all those other things that the NBA found in a year-long investigation of workplace impropriety. So Sarver has been suspended from the league. He's now looking to sell. We do know that the Suns will be up for sale. What I've read is that could possibly be that the starting bid for that is probably going to be, around $5 billion possibly. So if Floyd Money Mayweather is interested in buying it, he's probably going to have to get some investors. I also think, and I would like to see him on the team, but I think his prior conduct is probably going to be something that's going to hold him back. His domestic violence, alleged domestic violence situations. I ain't gonna say alleged because he was convicted on one of them. Some of his situations. So I think the NBA is gonna look long and hard at his personal background. So I don't know. I would rather see him try. I'd rather see we get some black ownership in the NFL. I mean, obviously, I would like to see the NBA as well. We only got one, Michael Jordan, but I would definitely I would like to see Money Mayweather get an opportunity to buy a team if that so happens to be an NBA team. So we're gonna keep our eye on this. I'm not gonna say it's a long shot. I think if you had to go between both leagues, which one would probably be the one that would definitely look at a person of color, African American, getting being a team owner? I think the NBA would definitely be the one that would do it before the NFL. So again, in the NFL, looks like the Washington Commanders are going to be up for sale too because of all the shenanigans and all that craziness Daniel Snyder has done with that organization. So we're going to keep our eye out on that as well. Now, let's get down to my hot mic moment. And when I say hot mic, when this mic is sitting in front of you in the media game, it's always on. So you always, they say your mic is hot. That means that you're on. So you always got to be careful what you say. So I'm not going to, this segment is not really me being careful. It's really just my opinion. It's in my opinion, and there's no right or wrong. We're talking about Coach Prime reaction. And I know everybody knows, and I know Miss Tori, you was on vacation, but I'm sure you heard about it. For the past week, it's been all Coach Prime all the time. Coach Prime decided to take his services to the University of Colorado after being at Jackson State almost 3 years. My thing is, and I'm gonna keep it short. I just think that the coaching is a business, and I think a lot of us have a lot of those and I'm not telling Jackson State fans they shouldn't be mad. Obviously, I could get it. I would be disappointed. I was disappointed when I heard he was leaving, but I understand why. Because when you talk about coaching is a business where you move to better your opportunities. I think we all can agree on that, just as general people. You move to better your opportunities. I think Coach Prime left Jackson State better than when he arrived. He was able to bring on Walmart to donate millions, Under Armour to donate new uniforms, every game, new helmets. He was able to leverage Pepsi Cola stuff with the SWAC. He was able to get new athletic facilities built at the school using some of his salary to help finish it. And he only signed a 4-year deal, $1.2 million, and he was in the 3rd year of his deal. And Coach Prime went on 60 Minutes and said that he wasn't leading anybody on. He said that if the opportunity to coach at a Power 5 comes, I gotta listen to it. So any coach would do that. Not just Coach Prime, but I think the uproar is because of it being at the HBCU, and we all know that the HBCUs are playing it's not playing on the same level as a Power 5 as these big schools, and I get it, and I understand that. But I mean, you got to use logic rather than emotions, and a lot of times, my people, we sound off on emotions, and we can be hard on each other. And I just think that is unfair that people are calling him a sellout, this and that, and all that. I don't think he'll sell out. I did read one Twitter message where one person said that Coach Prime, it was all about himself. He just came in and used Jackson State. How you gonna come in and use something that was really nothing? He used them to elevate his coaching experience. You're right, but Jackson State used him too. Don't make it seem like this was a one-sided relationship. That's what it was. They both benefited from each other. The city of Jackson benefited from Coach Prime coming in with his marketing ability. The economy even benefited. Those students even benefited. The university benefited. So my thing is, I heard one HBCU president said they hope Coach Prime fails, and I think that's totally disrespectful. Even if I don't agree with another brother, whatever their decision is, it's their decision. But I always want to see a brother shine, regardless what happens. And again, he's going to a Power 5 school. Guess what? One of the things that Coach Prime preached about was he want those HBCUs, when they play non-conference games, to be able to get paid. Well, guess what? Now he's at a Power 5 school. He can schedule Jackson State and pay Jackson State what they should be paying when these Power 5 schools play non-conference against other Division I or whatever schools. So now he's in a position where he can make that happen. He can bring on Black college coaches or assistants to help them. And guess what? Check this out, my people. There's only a handful of Black coaches. We just lost one at Stanford. David Shaw resigned. Right now, you only have Coach Prime at Colorado. You have Marcus Hamilton at Notre Dame. And you have Mel Tucker at Michigan State. Those are three I can name off the top of my head. It could be more. Think about it. We're talking about Division I Power 5 football, and you only got 3 Black head coaches. So how are we gonna make inroads? You gotta have some Black head coaches that become coaches at these Power 5 Division I schools, where they can make they can set the level and set the bar, and they can bring some along with them. Ms. Toria says, I am happy for him. He made them better all the way around. I would love to see him in the NFL. I understand, but he is not a sellout. He did what he supposed to do, make them better. I agree, Ms. Toria. Again, like I said just a minute ago, the one thing I would say, and I respect, he made Jackson State better than what it was when he got there. Now, my thing is, I'm going to continue to follow HBCU and Jackson State. I hope they make a good hire. There's been word that they could be Cam Newton or my man that played for the Ravens, the safety, Ed Reed. I'd rather them go with someone that's already in the house. I hope TC Taylor, who was on Coach Prime staff, who Coach Prime has actually recommended to Jackson State. I hope they keep him. I hope he becomes the guy to kind of keep that continuity going with the school and all that. So again, I want to see HBCU win. I want to see Jackson State win. I want to see the whole HBCU landscape win. But we can't be mad at Coach Prime for taking an opportunity that a lot of Black head coaches don't get, and that is to coach at a Division I Power 5 school in the Power 5 conference. So salute to him. Again, my people, I get it. I understand Jackson State fans. I understand when you're upset. Again, I wasn't happy about it either, but I looked at it from a logical standpoint and not from an emotional standpoint. And I think Jackson State will be fine. I think he set the bar. He left them he didn't leave them in shambles. He left them really in a really good place. All it takes for the Jackson State alumni, the Jackson State people, the Jackson State Tigers to keep on what he had laid the foundation and keep building on that. And I think Jackson State would be fine. So that's my hot mic moment on Coach Prime. Again, salute to him and salute to Jackson State, because I think they're going to be fine as well. And Coach Prime isn't done. He will be coaching the Celebration Bowl game next Saturday in Atlanta with Jackson State playing, I think, North Carolina Central. I'm not sure. So again, that's been my hot mic moment. Again, thank you guys. This has been my TFG Sports Show. I'm the sports guy, Kendrick. I want to thank Miss Tori Williams for dropping in and commenting and chatting with me. And those that watch this later, I hope you check it out and share it to your social media platforms. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel TFG Sports Media on YouTube, and follow it on Facebook as well. We had 924 subscribers on YouTube. 924. We need 76. I know I can get 76 before the year's out. Need 76 subscribers. Miss Tori says, how about some of them fans, man, open up their wallets, donate to the school, and help them? That's a whole nother topic, Ms. Williams, and you're so right. I didn't want to go there, but you're right, and we may go there on Monday night. But I need my people to come subscribe to this channel. We had 924. 76 would be at 1,000. then that can take us to a whole different level too. So I appreciate those that watch. Ms. Williams, definitely appreciate you. Those that like and that share it. Again, this has been your TFG Sports Show. Now, we got another show you go check out tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central. Real Talk for Real Men with my man, Lee Black. If you're not doing anything, go check him out on his YouTube channel. Keep Real Talk for Real Men and TFG Uncut, TFG Ratchet. If you ain't got nothing that's going on, go sit in. He always going to have something. Really, Saturday is a good day to go check his show out. And check it out on Wednesdays as well. So go check it out. And check out all the shows on TFG TV Network, on Lamb Levity. Go check out some of the Real Estate Insider. Make sure you check all that. Subscribe to the channel. View some of the videos. And make sure you go view some of the videos that I post on TFG Sports Media. It's a whole lot of good stuff that I got going on there. I'm getting ready to I'm going to post something in a little bit about the Cowboys. AT&T Stadium is getting some renovations. And it's going to cost about $290-something million. And guess what? Jerry Jones ain't gonna have to pay for it. I'm gonna post that story here in a little bit on TFG Sports Media. So go check that out. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share to the channel. So again, thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Make sure you come back, check me out here every Saturday at 11 a.m. This has been the best sports talk show on social media. I'm your sports guy, Kendrick. Y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you next week. I'm out. Peace.
That money clip us now, the new now looks like. Whoa, upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like. Whoa, 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 whoa. I hit record it, drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets. When I'm performing, never born.